So it's raining out here, and I was going to do something else, but I figured, I've been talking about this for a while, and figured I should actually sit down and do what I've been talking about, and that's getting back to a lot of the little projects that I do. So we're going to have a quick little discussion on my fire tinder bag, what I do, and what I put in the firebox, not my firebox, the fire bag, so I can light a fire, and what I carry. Um, and we'll get that going here in a minute once I get my companion here to quit being an idiot and knock shit over. Hey y'all. So it's a bit of a rainy day today, and I figured I was gonna do some other camping stuff, but I'm like, you know what? I've been postponing talking about this for a while. So I'm gonna go over what I have in my fire bag, what I carry usually with me, that perpetuates me starting a good fire and being able to get a fire. Because, in my opinion, fire is life. You can't make fire, you're going to have a bad experience. So, fire. Why do we need it? Why should we know how to make it? Well, fire is very important, in my opinion, on having a successful camp out or even a good time. I don't know what it is. How miserable the condition can be, raining, storming, you get a fire going, it's going to give you a little bit of security. You're going to feel a little bit better about yourself. In the whole human condition that we all deal with, fire is comfort. And besides being able to keep us warm, cook our food, prepare any waters and things like that may be gooky, nasty waters, we need fire. And, well, I've been, like I stated just earlier, I've been putting this off for a while, but I figured I'd go over my kit. It's one of those days that's miserable, nasty outside, and stormy. So, good timing. Good timing to have this little chat. All right, fire. Well, I generally tell everyone to have about 3 different ways to create fire. Um, Playing the primitive aspect on it's always fun using flint and steel and very primitive ways to make fire. It's good to learn how to do it. Specifically, that it's always a backup. But generally speaking, you want to always carry with you a couple, a pack of matches, a lighter, flint and steels, the ferro rods. Those are always where you really want to start with the stuff. And it's good to carry those. And so that's what I keep in my bag. We'll flip this around and show you what I have in my bag and give a little talk about this. Okay, we're going to start with some of the easy things that I deal with. Well, in my bag, okay, well, fire. Okay, let's talk about the modern stuff first. Good old pack of matches. I use the wood matches. These ones are really easy to strike. The whole, if you can get them, I suggest like the strike anywhere matches. But keeping your stuff dry too is very important. But matches, regular wood matches. I've got an old pack of paper matches. This is probably an antique freaking thing, but regular paper matches. They used to give these out free. I don't even know if they give them out free anymore. But whenever I saw a pair of matches, pack of matches somewhere, I would grab those up. Those are really good to have in your kit as well. I keep a couple pairs of little lighters. Even if they run out of fuel, you can still get a spark, and that'll lead to the next section of the stuff here. But lighters. Then we go into the more fancier stuff. The ferro rods. These things, these magic spark throwers. This one was a cheap one, picked up at like Harbor Freight, I believe, and it comes with a zinc block. And what you do is you chaw at the side here, and it throws your zinc down, and you create a little pile of that. And then once you spark your, yeah, I hear you guys. It's the chickens out there. But it throws your spark off the rod that's included into it and gives you a little like hacksaw piece there so you can throw your sparks. But you throw your spark onto your pile of this and you make sure that that's on top of your material that you need to burn, and it kind of creates a super heat, super hot spot, and it catches the materials faster. This is basically the same thing, but it's an all-in-one kit. You know, you got your ferro rod there, and then you got your little scraper here, and you can throw your sparks where needed. This is a lot fancier than you really need. I mean, as simple as this is really what you need, but I suggest carrying one of these in lieu of the matches and the lighter as well, simply because, well, dude, you never know if you're gonna fall in water or whatnot. I have discovered when it's really cold out or if it's really kind of damp, these are sometimes hard to light. And if you need to get a fire going in a pinch, this thing will always save your bacon. So everything's pretty much contained in this weird little leather bag that I keep. But inside the bag, I do things like I'll collect little dry sticks, and I can shave these down or crack them up, and that creates the fuel that I need to get the fire going. Now this is just some moss that I've found. I used to have it on the property all over the place, but um, different locations, you know, I grab whatever's available at the time. Um, Fuzz from plants in the fall is really good. Um, right now, we've got a lot of the oak leaves. Now, you take these things, they're dry, put them in your pocket if they're damp. You can dry them out that way. But you crumble them up really good and kind of just keep squishing them and getting them going that way. And that way, they'll catch. But that's just something else I keep in the bag. Now, this stuff is just common rope, that hemp rope you can get, you know, cut yourself a chunk of that off and shred it. And this stuff is what is used to make a bird's nest. It's also super flammable. I think a lot of the hemp ropes and strings nowadays, they have a kind of a kerosene smell to them. So they're really good material to use as a base to get your fire up and going. Here's some more just hemp string, and I keep that inside that little bag as well. And that is used for creating what's known as the bird's nest. The bird's nest is where you throw the sparks, and everything can get caught from that. Now, also in the kit, I have a little tin, and inside the tin is where I store my char cloth. Char cloth is really simple to make. I use old t-shirts and like little cotton, 100% cotton t-shirts, and you throw it, you pack them in a little tin, and every time you make a fire, you just make some more char cloth. You know, in a pinch, I always keep the char cloth filled back in there. I don't use much of it when I start a fire this way, but it's always good to have it and replenish this constantly. So, simple t-shirt material, cotton fabric, shop rags. That's some of the best stuff to make the char cloth out of. But if you can find it, I've been looking for it. I haven't been. I think it's called chaga, but it's like a mushroom. It's a horseshoe mushroom that grows on the side of a tree, and that makes a great catcher for sparks in getting a fire going. But I've yet to find any up in the areas that I've been camping in and getting around in. Let's see, come over the spark thrower. Now this is flint, big chunks of sharp flints. You know, in a pinch, I've used the flint also for knives. You know, in a pinch, like I've gotten a splinter and didn't have a knife that I felt was sharp enough, so grabbed a piece of flint, and I mean this stuff goes down to like 1 micron, and I basically surgically removed the nasty splinter using a piece of flint. But this stuff is extremely sharp. It throws such a great spark when you're throwing it in combination with your metal striker. Also in a pinch, not in a pinch, but obsidian. Unfortunately, Where I'm at, it's easier to find the obsidian than the flint rock here. I had to pick this up from, of all places, Arizona. A rock shop in Arizona is where I picked it up. I've been searching on the west coast out here, and I have not found flint. Now, obsidian, it's all over the place, and that seems to, it's not as dependable as the flint, because this is definitely a harder material than this, but you can still throw a spark with your striker off of that. Again, I discussed the leaves. I've got my string. So that's more of the primitive side of creating a fire. In a nutshell, that's kind of it. Well, a couple odds and ends pieces that I usually carry with me. I usually carry an extra wick in there. If I'm out and about, the wick will catch and burn slowly. You have a little fire if I need to carry the fire from one place to another place, and it's good for transferring a fire or a flame if needed. So I usually keep it in there. Also, if I'm in a situation where I want lights, I keep my wicks with my fire starter here. That way I can get a fire going and use that with a little bit of oil or something like that and make a lantern lamp. Something I also found is very useful that I throw in my fire kit is I carry 1 or 2 pieces of the match light charcoal with me. Once I get a little fire, I can start the corner of this thing, and especially if it's rainy or wet out like that and you're having a difficult time, this will slowly burn and it'll give you some heat. Heating up, it's weird, but creating a fire and catching fire is one thing, but getting that fire going seems to be where a lot of people fail. I don't know if this is true or not, but this is what I've experienced, is you need to create a heat inside the fire. And that heat, once it gets to a level where it's producing a high enough temperature, that's where it begins to catch a lot of the other materials. So like your little twigs and stuff like that, once it gets heated up. Well, with a charcoal, I'm able to do that a lot easier than I can with just twigs and whatnot like that. Got my snoring pugs there. But in a nutshell, that is what I carry. All of this stuff fits in here. And I carry that pretty much with me religiously wherever I go. And just in case, I need to get a fire going in a pinch, that's what I carry with me. That's what's inside my bag. Anyways, hopefully that helps out. Kind of explain some of the mysteries of, well, what do you put in a fire bag or a fire tinder bag? Well, a minimum of 3 forms of making fire, some way like that. Lighters, matches, flint and steel, whatever. Now, again, this stuff is more the fancy stuff. This takes a little bit more skill to master, but anybody can do matches and whatnot like that. But in a safety situation, that's what I'm going to highly recommend you put as a minimum in your kit. Some people put a little bit more. Some people can use less. This is just what I've been using for the last couple decades. So that's it in a nutshell. Now, you've probably seen a lot of videos where people will teach you how to make a fire. This is kind of an important step too that you should learn. The best and easiest way I can do is, there you go. Now you got your fire. Now you can be safe. But yeah, learn your materials, play with them, master them, get to know how to make a good fire. You never know when you're going to use it. It could always come handy in a pinch. But we'll talk to you later, and we'll see you out there. Y'all take care now. Last quick note. I will be setting up and adding I actually have a Patreon page nowadays. So if you like what you see, if you feel like throwing me a buck or two like that, that'll work. It pays for my puppy chow and helps keep them fat and happy, because a fat and happy pug is always a good thing. But yeah, in this last couple years, it's getting weird out there, and so I'll put that up on the Patreon. Also, I have a little bit of advertising for my screen printing business. So if you need screen printing embroidery done, give me a holler. Graphic arts, and be putting some web pages up here too. The new normal, you might say. Seems to be a different world coming down the pipeline, that's for sure. Anyways, be neat, be clean. If you can't be clean, be neat. If you can't be neat, don't name it after me. I'll catch you on the flip side.